We are governed by the open meetings law. There's a copy of that affixed to the back of the room and on the back table. We don't have any public comments this morning.
There are no scheduled public comments.
Thank you very much. Mr. Scott.
All right, good morning, folks.
Morning.
Morning.
Hoping we stay warm. Just so you guys know, if you get a few calls, we have OHA generator broke down at Crown, or excuse me, Underwood, so they're having some electricity issues over there. We should be back online at noon. We have one generator working, so we get some calls from now until noon. So we're working on it, MUD or OPPD and Music Electric. Sal, you want to talk about our donation, our second donation from Carcass?
Yes. Last week, we got a call again from Cargill Single Foundation. They decided to donate another 14,000 pounds to our residents. This time around, it's a different kind of food also. So we distribute them out on Friday evening to about 9 o'clock. So we end up going to all the family development with 8 towers. We didn't get a chance to go to Park North and Park South and Island. So our next time around, we will make sure we get out there. But they made a commitment to do it for the hospital every Thursday, every third Friday of every month.
That's wonderful.
I'm going to be running to be the Nauro North Central Regional Council Executive Leadership. I'm looking to try to be the secretary, so I think the nomination and the vote is in April. So I'll keep the board informed if I am in fact named the secretary of Nauro. Commissioner Winkford is still in the rehab facility on 63rd and Maple Street. She is doing a lot better. So we'll send our regards and prayers on that. Good morning. Our fee accountant is here in town helping us submit our annual financial statement to HUD. That's due in the next couple of weeks. That's the reason why you did not get any financials. Once we finalize those, you will definitely get an email on that. I will also be attending the NARL Legislative Conference in March, trying to figure out what our funding environment is. We do have some meetings scheduled with our Nebraska delegation, as well as with HUD. Two other things. After the meeting, I got to be honest with you folks, I have to be in Kansas City today after the meeting, so I'm going to be running out of here. I am sitting as a panelist on a Veterans Homeless HUD-sponsored symposium today with Scott Bradley's daughter and all the other regional housing authorities. We're going to talk about eliminating veterans homelessness in this region, which comprises of Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas City, or Kansas State, Kansas. We're also going to be distributing the updated personnel policy to the board here the next day or so we can ratify this in March. We've worked with our personnel committee to try to put forth some updated personnel policy. We'll send that to you here in the next day or so. Excuse me. Last thing I'll say, there's been some talk in the newspaper relative to some fights, quite frankly, with the mayor and WBE, ME contracting and the CSO project. I know the councilman has been fighting a good fight and trying to make sure that contractors and people, disadvantaged folks, get their due. Any time when things come to the forefront in the media and in this community, we always have to look within and see what this organization is doing relative to our participation goals. I'd be happy to say that we're 24, 25% month to month. Sometimes it's higher with our participation goals. We're proud of that. We think that our participation with working with disadvantaged businesses is very important, and we're going to continue that. So I wanted to make the board and certainly our vendor community and our staff aware that it can be done. And we've made a commitment to do that, and we're happy on that. We're happy to do that. So if I got any questions, any comment?
Madam Chair, if I could. I know we're in various phases of addressing the homeless issue, and one of the things that we're doing that perhaps maybe you and the executive director ought to sit in on at some point. We've been working with a group of donors, and we've been working with St. Francis House primarily. There's a campus plan in place that will increase that will increase housing for veterans, a little more housing for homeless, but more importantly, to address mental illness. It ought to be unacceptable to all of us that the Douglas County Jail is the largest facility for mental health service. That we should be housing prisoners, not mentally ill people. And so there's a concerted effort on the part of myself and Amy Belton specifically, with a number of partners, including behavioral health specialists and others. And I think within that campus setting, there's probably going to be a role that we can play. So, I will keep us informed about that. And this is a huge deal, and there's significant dollars that need to be raised. We think we can raise them. There's some other issues that we need to address, but we're moving down the road, and I would imagine that probably sometime in March or early April, I want to give you all a briefing on kind of where we are with that. But I think it would be good to be a part of that, so at least you're aware of it and what role we might want to play in that as a housing community.
I always just got it, and I'm always at your disposal with whatever you need. But I appreciate the inclusion of our presenting staff knows, and we've discussed before. Although there is a large contingent of mentally disabled individuals, that kind of corrections centers we have a large contingent. The other place that they end up being is housed with us. So I think we've learned a lot of that conversation, and we've had that conversation before. So I appreciate that, and we participate in whatever way we can.
Sure. We will. Thank you.
I have two items. This, I think, is our third meeting without financials for the board. And the board understands drafts and unaudited or unreviewed. And I think this should be our last meeting without some presentation of the financials of this agency. That there's something that you're working from operationally that you should at least be able to give us an update from your perspective. Are we over, under, on target? And if you have to make a change for that, but I just think it's unacceptable that this, I believe, is our third meeting now where we continue to wait to see financials. The second item is the personnel policies. I just would like to talk to Mr. Bradley after the meeting to see if before that goes to the board, should we have a personnel meeting on the presentation before that's presented. We looked at a draft. We haven't met since then. I know Commissioner Nell is out, but I'd just like to talk to him and see what we'd like to do before that's presented to the board. And then this is just a comment to Nicole, because I can see it quicker. I can't load the Dropbox, so you have an extra package. Okay. That's it. Thank you.
We're going to give you we have 2 months worth of financial.
Yeah, we'll have December and January's financials to present. The accountant has been working with us on closing out the books through December, which includes closing out all the capital funds, which then wind up setting up asset for depreciation for the year, looking at all the accounts receivable, write-offs, et cetera. So there's a number of things that we do at year-end for cleanup. And if we were to present interim financials, it would be, okay, why is this like this? Why is this like this? Why are all these holes here? It's counterproductive to present financials that have gaps in them than to wait and present financials that are clear. I can tell you that there's a heroic effort this year by the staff to get reconciliations done. For example, on the cash accounts last year, We had numerous reconciling items out there from the previous year that the auditors saw reconciling items on the books, like 2 years worth of items, which this year, all of those items have been cleaned up. There's going to be a lot of expenses that will be flushed out of the system, which is necessary to have the books clean the way it should be. It wasn't an audit point last year, but the auditor said that those need to be cleaned up so we can have a fresh, clean audit this year. We did get a clean audit opinion last year. It was an item that was kind of hanging out there. All those items are cleaned up now, and we should have good financials. I can tell you that December would have been the same types of results as the previous months that have been presented, so there wouldn't have been any surprises there. There's just going to be this big cleanup at year-end for these old items that are kind of hanging out there on the table.
So March, we should have both December, January, and February financials in March?
Yes.
Well, no, we're planning on sending December, January, through the next one, right?
Yeah, next week we should be able to send out to the board members the December and January.
And the Finance Committee, we can have a fairly robust discussion about the past 3 months and where we are budget-wise, and I think that's Mr. Bradley.
Right. Yeah, Michael, I do appreciate that you couldn't get the accounting to do the adjustments. And you got to do the adjustments on your end so that your ongoing is correct. Hopefully next year it doesn't take 60 days to close out your end.
Yeah, and the unaudited financials have to be to HUD by the end of February, so that's the normal time frame for the closeout process to take place, so it's not unusual time.
Any other questions?
Anything else, Mr. Scott?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Anyone want to take number 2 off?
Motion to take it. Do I have to? Okay, well, no, I don't want to take it off. Then
I was just
let's- Motion to approve, motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, items 1 and 2. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bradley.
Yeah, yes.
Commissioner Watson.
Yes.
Commissioner Gray.
Yes.
Commissioner Bruno. Yes. Straight
Yes. And I'm just going to acknowledge, I appreciate that several of our vendors that are related to item 2 on there are here with us today. You know, what we've just done is approve staff to go ahead and take care of all those invoices. So if there's anything else you guys need, please contact Judy or Cliff. And I appreciate you coming today. Okay, next item on the agenda, budget and finances. We've kind of covered that. Do we have anything else, Michael or Scott?
No.
Okay. Item
Just get it
D,
done.
asset management. Susan and Terrence.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Terrence is in here. He is at Crown Tower. We have our REACT inspection starting today for the next week, and so he's unable to attend. I just want to point out that we started 2015 at 98%. We had 16 properties that were at 100%. A total of 73% of our properties were at 98% or above, and we did meet our goal with more move-ins and move-outs for the year. So, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Since we didn't have operations committee meeting this month, are we going to for sure have one next month? Because I think we need to keep revisiting our discussion around what is our occupancy versus accounts, payable and receivable, we kind of coming in and figuring it out. So I want to make sure that doesn't fall off.
No, we did not have operations this month because of the inspections. So unfortunately for all board members, our committee meetings will be probably very healthy and on tap for next month. So I would say time-wise, plan accordingly. We should have a fairly substantial finance committee meeting and probably have a fairly substantial operations meeting as well.
Just so everybody's aware, REACT inspections are HUD inspections that, HUD comes in and looks at our property, looks at our unit. So that is happening in February and March. So we apologize. This represents 30% or 40% of our schools, so in our public housing grade. So very, very important.
But yeah, so we will have many meetings on both of those. I know personnel's meeting for next board meeting as well. So Just as a note on committees, I think we're going to maintain the same committee structure and membership that we have currently, but if anyone has any requests, input, please let me know, and I will go ahead and probably send out our committee, probably a committee structure statement that says who's on what committees and kind of when they meet and that kind of thing. So before I do that, if anyone has any requests, input, go with that, just let me know. All right, moving on, item E, housing choice voucher. Morning, John.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you have my monthly report, I would like to answer any questions if you have any. Just to let you know that the CMAP report that you approved last month was transmitted to pick middle part of February, which is due tomorrow. So it was transmitted and accepted by HUD. We won't have the results of that, maybe a couple of months. They'll let us know, if they approve it or not. We did have our first briefing for the year on Monday. And we did have families attend the briefing. We're going to also schedule 2 additional briefings, maybe 50 families during the month of March. Any questions?
So for Joan, HIO did not meet last month. I would imagine, I believe we are 2 months off on HIO, so my folks probably should also have HIO meet in March as well. No, we met in December, maybe in January. So, I mean, January, February, so.
So we do January, yep.
Well, anyway, we probably need to meet. Let's see what's on the agenda, but let's, what likelihood if you want to stay with our every other month schedule, we probably need to meet in March. Okay. Item G, support department reports, capital development construction. Morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Commissioners. You have my report before you. If you have any questions on anything, please let me know.
Have we heard anything back from HUD on Southside?
No, they have not approved the plan yet. They have 75 days from December, I think December 16th or something. So we're waiting on that. They generally take the full 75 days to approve.
Is that out of Kansas City? Is it local?
Oh, yeah.
Are we having any additional issues with, last year we had some concerns about who was doing what work, whether it was being properly permitted. Have we had any additional issues on that? You know? Last year we had an issue with who was doing the work on installing HVAC systems and whether or not they were the appropriate people to do HVAC.
We got that worked out.
You got that worked out, okay.
That's not an issue anymore.
Okay. And I only say that because I had talked to Jay Davis about meeting with our maintenance staff, and I know he's still open to that, and I can arrange that.
That person doing that, he is no longer working at this agency, so.
Yes.
We talked about that a few months in a row. Where are we at with that?
So we actually have a meeting coming up with Terrence and Susan, Judy, myself, and Michael. And we just got our funding allocation for 2015 budget, so it's around $3 million. So it actually went up to about $400,000 compared to the year before. So we're going to sit down and use a GPNA, and then we're going to listen to obviously Susan and Terrence and kind of understand what their priorities are. Obviously, kind of what we see as some priorities from keeping up on the UFIS stuff, so that doesn't come back down on us on that. And so just really try to manage that $3 million to the best of our ability to make sure that we're leveraging it and using it to the maximum and not wasting it. So we continue to have those discussions. We're going to set those budgets up next week. So we'll update you on other questions.
Does anyone else have any further questions or comments or discussion for Ryan? No, move on.
Yeah, can you, yes, let me just ask you a question. Just in terms, I'm looking at the MBWB enterprise.
Okay, so we're going.
Oh, we're going next, okay.
So, we'll go into procurement. Good morning,
Okay.
Steve.
You've got my report and I'll
Yeah, one of the questions I have is I know we have a strong Section 3 program, and I know we're doing, I usually hold Omaha Housing Authority up as a model, quite frankly. But I just want to know how are we having any issues? Are we okay with the contractors that we do have that are bidding in our on various jobs in the Omaha Housing Authority? Are we generally satisfied with the results of the work?
Yes, I would say so. It takes a lot of teamwork to make this happen. Last month we were at 29%.
Yes.
So what that means is we're hiring a lot of contractors that are small disadvantaged. They may have a good skill set doing work. A lot of times what we see is issues with fluctuating skills and so forth. So our staff works with them with issues like that. I know that operations also sometimes struggles. A small contractor can't get all the jobs they want done today, at the end of the month, for example, every unit painted. But I think we'll all work together to that goal, and it seems to work fine.
Okay. When I ask because I'm hearing the same sorts of things in other areas where we've got good contractors that are doing good work, but they're, because of their size, they're not keeping up as they should with the paperwork. So we're looking at something that might, we're looking at a project, a couple members of the city council and I are looking at a project that might be beneficial to all of the agencies that utilize, that do this type of, make sure that we include small and medium businesses and other contractors. So we'll be looking at that. That's why I wanted to ask. I'm getting kind of like the same thing. And, we got to try and find a way to address them to get them, help get some of them to the next level. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously, we have a lot of experience here working with those contractors.
Yeah.
There might be some relevant knowledge base.
He gave me some really relevant knowledge at this point. But it all seems to be the same. So I think that's a small issue. That's an issue that I think we need to address in a way that takes some of the workload off of us and off of our staff. We're looking at a sort of like a business like incubator where they can get work done. I mean, where they can get their paperwork, turn over their paperwork to this particular group and they help get it done small. So we'll see where it goes with that. And I'll keep you informed. And there may be a lot of discussion. Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Where do we stand in terms of the forecasting of our capital needs and putting together our procurement needs? Just something we talked about at committee level. Just haven't heard any more about that. Presentation of projects forthcoming. You with me? You looking?
Yeah,
you remember we talked about
I absolutely do. We
putting
didn't have
together
the
that package
procurement
so the committee can see what's coming.
I have everything charted out by quarters. I know exactly what's coming up over the next 2 quarters. I'm happy to email that to you forward.
Okay, or just, I think at committee level is something we
Right.
should see and just understand your strategy for those procurement opportunities. That was one of the things we just talked about, instead of the items just coming one at a time or as the needs arrive. Let us see out far enough what's happening so we can make sure that we're getting the best opportunities, that we're bundling properly, and that we're forecasting to the community that would be interested in getting enough and sufficient time to respond to what our needs are. So maybe at our next procurement meeting, if the committee's okay with that, I think that's what we'd like to see.
Sounds good.
Where are we at with drafting excuse me, the RFP for the strategic plan, and what's our timeline associated with that, and when will the procurement committee see that, and the board have the opportunity for input on that RFP language?
We've got several of us reviewing the language. The model we were given was Omaha Public School, and that was a massive undertaking to take there. And we have a budget also, and I think it's going to, I'm sure by the end of the next week or so, Judith and Michael and myself are working on making sure that the language is just right, so that we stay within our budget, but get everything we want. And
So
we
the
should be able to get it right.
timeline then would be to share that how and when, and will the board see that before it goes out? And I feel like that is such an important thing for us this coming year. We've talked about it pretty much nonstop for the last year, that I want to just make sure that that's also a way to engage the community and community leaders around being invested in that process.
By educating us on what we're doing.
Yep.
Certainly happy to do that.
Well, so what's the timeline?
We'd say by a week tomorrow.
So So then we would get a chance to look at it then, is what you're
Right,
saying? Or
right.
kind of help
We
me
would have to
understand?
look
Okay.
at that.
Yeah, we will have time to get that and formulate that for presentation.
If you want to present your percentage of procurement first, what you can do is probably share it with the board, and if anyone on the board has comments, they can share that with, who's the chair? You are. Share it with Commissioner Gray, and you guys can vet that through the committee.
Okay.
So if you guys can get out to the board in the next week, when's procurement again? Usually that would be
Second
Friday.
second
Friday,
Friday,
March
okay.
13th.
So if we can have the RFP to the board by the end of next week, then that gives the board a week to get some comments to you. And just have any comments you have, just send them straight to Commissioner Gray. And then you guys can discuss that for the committee level. And then we'll come back, and it should be able to come to the board in the rest of the process in March. Okay?
And we can take it off consent if we can have some.
At least that one we get some additional for you guys can better for the committee level. And then we can have a discussion about it for next month.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Jamie, thank you. I trust Jamie to make sure we don't let things fall apart. Number 3, human resources. Good morning, Gail.
Good morning, Commissioners. I want to take this opportunity to introduce you guys to Brian Hansen. I don't know if you've been introduced to him. He is the new attorney. Started on staff Monday.
Good morning, Ryan. Welcome
I
aboard.
was going to ask, like there's somebody new sitting back there.
Yeah.
So.
And then also another way to segue into our customer service training. This Thursday here, he got to sit in on our customer service training. It was put on by Creighton, which I thought was absolutely fabulous. And to add anything, but it was totally interactive. It was a 4-hour training session that was fabulous. We talked about internal and external customers, and we're going to continue that discussion going on throughout the year. And team building and exercise improve upon the customer service that we give to our customers, not only externally but internally.
How many employees attended that?
Every single employee in house authority attended the training. It was great because it was a mix of all the departments, so you had all interaction with everyone talking about their issues with customers. They're very different, could be different than, in the central office as opposed to our meeting staff. It was great training.
Did they give any recommendations on how we can measure how that is being effective then? So everybody got the great training, and then is there a way to kind of gauge and understand 2 months, 6 months, however many months out that that's actually resulting in better customer
We did
service?
not talk about measuring, we talked more about delivering, how to deliver it, what it looks like, what it is, barriers to customer service. What we did was we groups into interactive with their ideals and things were their ideals, and we're going to compile those and bring them out to staff and continue the discussion. Because it's going to be very good for the departments. And you have my report in front of you, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I don't remember seeing it.
I'm feeling really old this morning because I just can't remember things, but I think, I didn't say I am old, I just said I'm feeling old. But I think what it is I'm just getting back to a position where I think we have not settled and cured that need for the board to have a tracking of the open items and deliverables. Because I've got another one. What happened to the salary study survey? I don't feel like we had closure with that. I checked, he's having the same memory lapse. And so,
I sent that out to you, that was we did, it was the price that you can see with the board, it's gone out to bid twice, and we did not get any responses to people to do it, so now we're going to all reach out ourselves and solicit it, or I'll just reach out to the groups who want to respond to any of the solicitations that we sent out.
so there's no housing authority that's have you checked with?
Yes.
Comparable authorities, that they don't have individuals that they can refer to
They
us
did.
for this?
And we sent those solicitations out to those companies, and they did not respond to our solicitations. So we're going to have to now reach out on our own and get quotes, because we're going to have to, we still have to procure it. So we have to bring quotes to make sure we are competitively soliciting that item.
So to procurement, is it what we're stating in, do we mirror what the other agency said? What is it about this agency that this is, been ever since I've been on the board, we can't seem to pull together something to really look at the overall, do an overall analysis of our greatest asset, which next to the buildings are the staff here. And we're not moving forward on it.
In this case, the scope of work was fairly complicated, but the additional papers that OHA puts behind every scope of work, I think just intimidates vendors, honestly. We've got an 80-page document, Kansas City sent out a 6-page document. Judith and I have already had one conversation about that. We're just way too deep, and we ask too many things of our vendors, and we confuse our vendors when it comes to the bidding process.
So it's just simple. I just think we just need a simple study to survey where we are, what positions that we have, the staff that we have. Are we above, below, on target? It fits into the strategy. We went to an annualized evaluation process. How did that go? Did we have full compliance?
Did that move towards the annualized evaluation process? That was something that was going to happen after the compensation that didn't never happen. So now we're still doing appraisals on higher ed. Because that was supposed to also go into the merit increases, which we have never gone from the personnel policy. They were doing merit increases.
So I'm just losing track of all the things and the status of everything. And if you have a barrier with something that's holding it up, it will be helpful for me to see that and know that. So I can know how to help you and the other board members. How can we help you move these things forward? So seeing the overall picture of the agency and all the open items will be beneficial to us from committee perspective. And we track along and can help you, which is a part of our governance is to when you get stuck, we can maybe give you some ideas and things you can do and stuff. It'll help me not feel so old, like I'm forgetting everything.
That being said, we discussed a dashboard system that Nicole presented to us last year, and I think most of the board was favorable with Glenn wants it in PDF, and still sending out PDFs. I have asked Nicole and Mr. Scott to go ahead and move forward with trying to implement that system. So, and I think as we work through it, we can use that system to keep track of open items and maybe reports, et cetera. So I'd like to see us maybe get that on board in the next month or two.
Actually, I think that took I thought it was a great thing, but I think it took a little bit longer because we have to load
So there's a small training that has to come, but I've mentioned to Nicole that we should go ahead and get that underway. So I guess I'm formally saying, Mr. Scott and Nicole, let's go ahead and try to get the system on. Because I think it'll be helpful to your concerns and help Jamie keep track of things and not happy.
Well, I kind of honestly, I end up feeling kind of like a nag because I feel like we bring the same things up at every meeting.
And we've had this issue for years.
Yeah.
So I think we need to find a different way to manage our information to try to address that issue. So, and as Nicole gave us an idea last year, we kind of sat on it for a while. I sat on it for a while. I don't think we're sitting on it anymore. At least try something different. So. And again, I think most of us were in, and Glenn just wants this still in PDF, and that's fine, and we can move the rest of the board on that system. Okay. Anything else on human resources? Brian, welcome.
Thank you.
Generally, our meetings are not this short, just FYI.
Okay.
So, but welcome, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And you've been here, it looks like 3 days?
Yes, 3 days.
Yeah, she does. She's a hog and all.
I don't hog it all. It seemed to be, at some point in time, put it in front of me, so I stopped getting up. All right, Family and Community Services. Sal, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioner. You do have my report in front of you. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have. Just a couple of items. Looking back, we did add a detailed report from Charles Drew again. They're actually doing much better this month. This month they served 132 residents for all 4 towers. They do have a new project coordinator who actually handles the 4 towers now. She just was assigned about 3 weeks ago. Then also, you have any questions?
No, I don't have any. I just wanted to make sure we got the update, so we know kind of where we are with that. Because I think there was a little bit of miscommunication, but I think we've got that kind of straightened out now. And it's good to see that they're doing what we had asked them to do, and that's increasing their, increasing their participation.
have changed our method a little bit as far as recruiting and engaging with the resident from the housing authority. So hopefully that continues to improve that numbers. Okay. And also I'd like to thank Mrs. Scott and Commissioner Watson for allowing Creighton to partner with us to provide 3 of our staff a train-to-trainer project, which is going to be a 6 weeks training to allow 3 of our staff to actually be trained to conduct financial literacy classes and also budgeting classes for our residents, which would be great. I think this will be the 3rd week that they're going through the program. This should be done in the next 2 weeks. So hopefully we'll be able to use those staff to actually train some about the resident who be housed and renting those kind of things. So we have some more information for you on that. This year, the Housing Authority will be signing up for the annual Omaha year through the Community Foundation. The deadline is today. We did register. We're waiting for the approval. Hopefully we should get the approval probably sometime next week. And what it is, it allows everybody all over the country to actually donate to our foundation through the website. So we have some more information coming to you.
How much do you want us to give as a board?
As a board, we're looking for about $100,000.
Let me get my checkbook.
$100 each. You should have started yet. Smaller.
No, not each, as a group.
What is the fundraising goal?
No,
And have we established a fundraising?
10,000. This is our first inclusion into Omaha Kids, so we're trying to start small.
We did it last
I
year.
think you did it before.
No, we actually didn't do it last year. We did a preliminary tryout 2 years ago, and we actually did it before. We just want to see how it goes. But we're going to use social media. We have a staff who actually is really good with social media. We're going to talk about. We have more information for you where Cliff and I will get that information out to.
You have to let people know we're now.
Yeah, that's a part of it.
What is the date this year? Anybody
It's
know?
usually like first, second week of May.
Yeah, it's around May, but it takes about 3 weeks to get the approval, so we should be getting something soon.
There are some organizations that are highly effective at getting the word out and raising a ridiculous amount of money on a very simple day. And so
And there's some matching funds, so it's all
interesting
good.
to model what happened.
The Humane Society raised about $900,000.
Put a cat on your page, Jen.
The Humane Society is very, I sit on their guild board, and the Humane Society is very, very effective at doing that. However, in the next couple of months, if there is a way or we have some things that we can identify that is done with foundation money, i.e. the sports teams that we put together and the recent scholarship, that's something if we can have some information that gets out to the public, that we can explain to people, if you donate, here's what it goes to. Because it always helps, I mean, with the Humane Society, you know where it goes and you know what it does. In donating to the foundation, I think people understood what we use foundation money for. It'll make it much easier for us to get those dollars.
Just to piggyback on what the chair said, the World Herald will be here on Monday doing a story on our Selma Scholarship
Excellent.
initiative. I want to say thanks to Sal and Katie Clark, who's our Section 8 department, who is assisting in putting that together, as well as Nicole. So they'll be doing a story for Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wonderful. Well, it's a wonderful project and idea, and I thank you guys very much for putting it together.
And if you don't know, we're taking 4 of our OHA students to Selma on the March 5th through the 9th. So we had an essay contest. We had 24 of our kids write essay why what Selma means to me. So we named 4 kids. We'll take them down.
Families go, family.
No, just
Just
the
the
kids.
Just a kid, and we have
okay.
one parent adult that will also assist.
Oh, okay.
To go out.
Chaperone.
Yeah, chaperone.
Okay. Well, that's great, because that'll be very helpful. That's information we can use in raising money for Omaha Youth. Anything else for Sal?
The last thing, we have our TV show crew who actually going to the workshop. They should be graduating in about 3 weeks. We got 12 residents who are going through this training, and this will allow us to actually do our own show on the public access channel for free. So, yeah, no, we didn't have employees. We had one employee that absolutely was involved, but they dropped out. But yeah, so we have some more information for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, to public safety. Morning, Chris.
Good morning, everyone. You have my report in front of you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. There's not really a lot to report as far as changes. Pretty typical month. It's cold in January. It's cold. Yes. We love the cold weather as a Southwest.
Does anyone have any questions for Chris? Discussion? Okay, we'll move on to item 6, legal. There you go, you're up.
And I have 10 questions for you.
About 0 answers.
I'll have 10 more after.
Mr. Forsberg is still handling our evictions, and I know we'll discuss that. He's got a year contract with us to do that, so we may consider sending that back to Brian, or is Brian going to be working
We're
with
going
other
to see
things?
how much, what the expenses are at the end of the year, and then make a determination if it's cost effective to continue that or discontinue that.
Brian has had a very busy few days.
Yes, I have. I have been working on getting up to speed on the files and learning all the different parts of OHA and how they all work together. So, taking in a lot of it.
Did Judy give you the Georgia Little Big Box of here's the federal regulations and the CFRs, and have a nice day reading?
No, it wasn't quite that severe.
I did it electronically, it was less intimidating.
Because that's what George did to me when I started. He goes, here's the CFR, have a nice day.
Yeah, how fun.
Okay. Well, you're welcome. I don't see, it's a slightly lower collection than we've had in the past, but it looks like the report is dated January 9th. I know Reggie's no longer with us. Do we have someone to replace him, or?
Yeah, we're putting that out.
Okay.
And Julie continues to work.
All right. Is there anything else for Mr. Hanson or Ms. Carlin?
Do we want to talk about this or not? Or just, never mind.
We have any new business? New information? Okay. We do need to have an executive session, so I would entertain a motion
A motion to go to executive session.
for real estate.
For real estate.
Second.
A motion is second. Could a roll call?
Commissioner Bradley?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Actually, clarification, is real estate, is it legal or personnel? Are those the parameters for
Real estate negotiations.
Okay. What was the question?
Yea or nay? On executive session. What?
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Burton?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.